What I want to show here is we want to show a brick rebate into a standard board. Now what I mean by a standard board is that's a 305 millimetre board for a 305 foundation, and it's going to marry into a 120 brick rebate. So essentially, here's your brick rebate. It's going to dive back in 120 mils and then go onto a standard board. So the concrete's up this height, and your bricks are down here. So essentially, it's a little bit of a stop end here on your brick where your brick terminates and then it goes back into standard cladding. So easiest way to look at that is I just pull that apart. Essentially, a lower shutter comes along and then goes in 120 mils, and then we'll just take a base and a standard board. That clips in just like so. Now the biggest thing that we're looking at here is, as you can imagine, this is your brick rebate. That is going to basically sit down there. We're going to take an H-section joiner. That's going to sit on this, and this will butt into that. And I'll show you exactly how that goes in a sec. First thing we want to look at, if I take the H-section joiner and slide it down like that, it's a bit of a step here. It looks a bit ugly. Now there's a couple of ways you can approach that. One is I can pull the board out, like so, and line it up that way, pushing the base along. So I push the base along, the board lines up. Essentially the board is in the joiner here by 10 mils. It's enough that I can get a screw on in the back, plus I can put a couple of beads of glue down there just to give it a little bit of stability. Now that's sufficient, that will work. The other way we can do it is, as you can look here, this board is the same as the board here, and we can basically cut 120 mils down, 10 mils in, a little bit of a check, just so you know, if I put that there, slide that down, and then an H-section joiner on. It does the same thing, it lines up nice. So a couple of different ways of approaching it. The easiest way I find is just pulling that out to where you need to. Basically taking your H-section joiner, lining it up like so, so you've got a nice straight line. Jumping around the back here. A couple of screws. Now, as you can see, there's a bit of a, this is just a standard H-section joiner that you'll have for your brick rebates, just one of these. Obviously I slide that on like that, and then there's this little bit of a dotted line I've made here. We'll just cut that off on the drop saw so it's nice and flush with the top of this. Then what we're going to do is take our brick rebate, measure from the brick rebate into the back of this board, and then we want to measure from the back of the board into the inside of this joiner, which I've already done that. It's 24 mils. So if you look at that, basically what that represents is the rebate's going to go to that point there, and then this part here is going to go into the H-section joiner. So essentially what we want to do is cut that out, leaving this the full length. So that means it can join into there like so, and this bit's gone. So what I'll do is I'll prepare this, I'll cut this H-section joiner, and then I'll show you how it goes together.